Welcome. I hope I've said hello to everyone already, but officially welcome to the 2014 Ping Seminar, Pharma 2020, From Vision to Decision. It's great to see a packed house, plenty of clients and other people known to us. Welcome to everyone. We hope you enjoy today. I have to make the ordinary announcement about phones, so please can you check your phones, make sure they're on silent or switched off, please. This event is being videoed, so there will be an opportunity for you to take part in the Q&A if you have a question you'd like to ask at the end. But if that's the case, please be aware you will be on video, and please also announce your name and organisation that you represent. Ping is an exciting initiative, and Matthew Arnold Baldwin's Life Sciences and Healthcare sector is proud to be at the forefront of it. Thanks to our partners who are all dedicated to supporting Ping, with the aim of enhancing the pharmaceutical community in this area. So thank you to the Watford Chamber of Commerce, Watford Council, and the Hertfordshire LEP, the Hertfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership. I'm also delighted to say that Richard Harrington, the Watford MP, is here to open the seminar, particularly pleased because Richard's taken some time from Parliament and is about to dash back over to Parliament once it's finished. But really great to have you here, Richard, to open this event. Would you like to say a few words to welcome us? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when he said open the event, I expected a ribbon, but there isn't one. So you'll just have to listen to me for a few minutes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's very difficult for organisations like this to get sort of top-flight political speakers. You know, Paul, if he'd have wanted, David Cameron, I'm told it's a 3-year waiting list. If he'd have wanted William Hague or George Osborne, I'm told it's 2 years. So when Paul called me yesterday morning, I was very, very happy to accept his kind invitation to speak. Now, the real reason I'm here is because the pharma industry is very important in Watford, and so are Matthew Arnold and Baldwin, the organisers. Because in both cases, we've got companies and institutions that really are of world class. So it's a big employer in Watford. It's my job and my pleasure to promote Watford. Having been here since 1979, I've seen a lot of changes. In 1979, don't worry, I'm Paul. You did say a maximum of 3 hours, my speech. So in 1979, it was a tired industrial town. And now, in many ways, it provides an environment for businesses from all over the world to come. And today, the reason I have to rush back to Parliament is because today the government are announcing the final funding for the Croxley Rail Link, which will provide 2 new stations on the Met Line, one of them actually very near here, and one of them basically at the entrance to the Croxley Business Park in Ascot Road, linking the Met Line up with Watford Junction. So this is a very important announcement. My late father said it would never happen. Mind you, he said the Harlequin would never happen, and that's been open and name changed a couple of times. But it actually shows in serious terms what Watford is becoming and why businesses are locating here. And we all work together. You know, the council, the county council, the local enterprise partnership, myself and my office. We have exactly no conflict of interest and no messing about with politics because we want the town to prosper. And Ping, this hub of pharma business, is very much an important part of that. And I'd like to totally commend and congratulate Matthew Arnold Baldwin for being behind this initiative. The person actually behind it is here. You heard from him before, Mr. Paul Gerschlich, whose biography is beginning to look the length of David Cameron's, Paul, because you've done so many things, really. Obviously, you're known to most people as a partner from a firm that charged us to say good morning. You know the story of the guy that goes up to the lawyer and says, "Can I ask three questions for £500?" And he says, "What's the second question?" Well, luckily MAB aren't a firm like that because you have a vision, and your vision is to help the area that you exist in to prosper. Hopefully you get clients from it, but you don't actually seem to mind. You just want the business to prosper. And you yourself, as head of the Life Sciences and Healthcare group, very much a part of that. You've got a smattering of honorary degrees from illustrious universities, And I think the most important thing is that you've got recently the prestigious Pharmaceuticals Lawyer of the Year in England. And that's a very prestigious award. And, I think it reflects you and it reflects the firm itself. You've got absolutely. And a magazine, which I'm afraid I don't read regularly, Paul, but now I shall. It's actually called Upload Pharma. No, it's not a magazine. It's the Life Sciences and Healthcare Update Service. I mean, you are editor of it and Uploading IT. So you're ahead of the game when it comes to anything that's technical. You're ahead of the game being a senior partner in a really important regional law firm that we hope prospers. And on behalf of everybody here, I'd just like to thank you and your firm for putting on today. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Richard, for those very, very kind words. Most humbling. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us today. Really appreciated. I'd just like to add to something that Richard just said about the announcement today, because it wasn't true. I did ask Richard, I think, last week to come, wasn't it? Not yesterday. But Jeremy Hunt is in Hertfordshire today for this exciting announcement about the LEP. And I'm sure I asked him half an hour before the event started and he couldn't come, so that was a disappointment. But Jeremy Hunt is here for this announcement about the funding in the Local Enterprise Partnership. And it really is an exciting time because this announcement is coming out today and you will probably see it on the news later. £200 million being invested in Hertfordshire, creating 13,000 jobs, 17,000 homes, generating up to £180 million of public and private investment. And apart from the exciting Croxley Rail link, there's going to be a new growth hub with special advice to small businesses on how they can grow and access markets. And really exciting for the life sciences sector, the support for life sciences, which is seen as a key employer and business industry in the county. The second phase of the Stevenage Bioscience Catalyst and some money towards the Rothamsted Research Campus. We have with us the Operations Director of the Hertfordshire LEP, Paul Whitcomb. Do you have anything you'd like to say about today's announcement?
No, you just completely stole my thunder, but it is an exciting time for us. For those of you who may have heard of local enterprise partnerships, I can understand why you might scratch your head and say, what does that mean for me? It's a bit like Oliver Roman's ever done for us. To date, the local enterprise partnership hasn't had much of an impact on business. This signals a complete sea change in funding for Hertfordshire. £50 million in growth funding for 2015-16, total funding package of £200 million up to 2020. That's on top of £60 million of European funding, which we will be putting into business support programmes to help and stimulate the growth of SMEs. So as you can see me standing here in my Marks & Spencer suit, I can assure you that that will not be replaced by an Armani suit. None of it will stick to the sides. Most of it will be going direct to business. Thank you.
And it really is an exciting time to be in Hertfordshire with the growth that we've got going in the life sciences sector at the heart of this golden triangle between Cambridge, Oxford and London. I'd now like to share with you a few of my thoughts before handing over to PwC. My thoughts of what's going on in the sector at the moment. And let's start with David Cameron's talk, an announcement last week, when he said that the world could soon be cast back into the dark ages of medicine unless action is taken to tackle the growing threat of resistance to antibiotics. There have been such few antibiotics that have been introduced in the last 25 years. And a new cancer drug may be great, but what's the point if people die from infections when their resistance is low? Even hip replacement operations are affected if we don't have antibiotics. So it really is a serious problem. And David Cameron commissioned Jim O'Neill, the economist who came up with the acronyms BRIC and MINT, to investigate, to report on plans to develop new antibiotics, with the report expected to take place next spring. And here are some things that I think may come up in the report. I don't want to prejudge it, but the sort of issues could be greater funding for research, could be patent lives could be extended of drugs, perhaps higher prices for reimbursement of the drugs which are making a difference for antibiotics. Or perhaps compulsory or incentivized use of new antibiotics so that when prescribers are looking at which antibiotics to use, they don't just go for the tried and trusted option, but they're incentivized to use and reward the new drugs that are coming out. But what particularly struck me about this was that it was David Cameron himself who made the announcement. He didn't leave it to Jeremy Hunt. And I'm sure that's not a lack of trust in Jeremy, but it shows the leadership that David Cameron saw in this issue. He said that our country discovered penicillin in 1928. It's right for Britain to take the lead on this too. We will need a global solution and global cooperation, but it's right that that should be led from Britain. This has echoes of the Strategy for Life Sciences and government's Innovation, Health and Wealth reports, both of which that came out in December 2011, when the government has been looking to tie together the health of the nation and the wealth that's generated by industry in the sector. What the government's particularly excited about and looking to make a play of is the fact that we've got world-class academia and research in this country. We've got great involvement and skills in the pharma industry. And here's the thing that a lot of other countries are envious of: the unique NHS, patient data, and an ability to enable pharma to learn from what's going on with the use of drugs, and also to enable the early introduction of drugs to patients. We have an unrivaled environment for industry, academia, charities, and the NHS to come together, quite a cocktail. It's good for business and patients to get early access to innovation, whilst attracting greater skills to come here too. The objective is to create a global hub for life sciences, and I think it's exciting that the government is trying to latch on to the life sciences with this initiative. And what we've seen locally with two projects that are not so far from here, and I'm going to mention two of them. The Stevenage Bioscience Catalyst that we just heard about, but for the announcement, Martino Picardo, the CEO, was going to be here today. A flagship open innovation project. The first open innovation bioscience campus opened in 2012. The collaboration between academia, big pharma and biotech, GSK, the Wellcome Trust, BIS, EDA, Technology Strategy Board. And the Stevenage Bioscience Catalyst campus is a unique community created to provide small biotech and life sciences companies and startups with access to the sort of expertise and facilities that you'd normally see with big international pharma businesses. And the second one, which is quite local to here, just a 20-minute train journey to Euston, just along between Euston and St Pancras, Med City. What an exciting project that is. In the next 20 years, their vision is to make London and the South East a world-leading, interconnected region for life sciences research, development, manufacturing, and commercialization. The Francis Crick Institute, as it is known, is going to be a major player in that. They're going to have the best facilities, the best scientists, and the best interdisciplinary research, all with the aim of enhancing health and wealth. The Crick Institute itself is going to be massive, 1,500 researchers. Again, a partnership between academia, industry, charity, MRC, Cancer Research UK, Wellcome Trust, Imperial, King's, and UCL. All of these bodies coming together in collaboration, something we're going to hear a bit about a bit later. So I mentioned before the unique opportunity that is the NHS. So what of patient data? Well, the Care.Data project was the joined up project to make patients' data all joined up across the NHS, including hospitals and GPs' practices, managed by the Health and Social Care Information Centre. The objectives: to find more effective ways of preventing, treating and managing illnesses, to make sure that any changes or improvements to services meet the needs of patients, and to understand who is most at risk from particular diseases and conditions so that those patients can benefit from preventative services. Fantastic intentions, but what a shambles the rollout was. It needed to get the buy-in from doctors and patients, but it didn't. The project has been postponed till the autumn. This is the latest from NHS England. to raise awareness, listen, and act on the views of patients and key stakeholders, and to discuss both the benefits and risks involved. More discussion, debate, reassurance, and action is needed. Well, absolutely. They needed to have explained the concept and get the buy-in. Well, hopefully now it will happen. I think that actually part of the problem is that people have a lack of trust in data projects, particularly government data projects. So hopefully the government can explain the purpose and benefits of this and the project can get back on track. Another initiative, early access to medicines, is an area gaining traction. And that's another really exciting project. The Early Access to Medicines scheme also featured in the papers two and a half years ago in 2011. But now we saw this launched in April this year, giving access to patients with life-threatening or seriously debilitating conditions with access to medicines that they wouldn't otherwise have got, where there's an unmet medical need. And what a great place the NHS is to launch something like this. We know that drugs cost over $1 billion to develop. So anything that leads to an earlier uptake of drugs has surely got to be good for both business and patients. And we know that Big Pharma is struggling with its pipeline post the patent cliff. We're seeing outsourcing to save costs, collaboration and acquisition, restructuring, buying and selling of divisions, or in AstraZeneca's case, moving from Alderley Edge down to Cambridge to be nearer Cambridge University. And we're seeing an increasingly complex customer model. But there is a common threat in the developed world, and that is an aging population. Fewer people in a working age to support more and more people who need more and more access to medicines. The problem's getting worse, not better. And the mantra, more for less, is something that we're hearing more and more about. Moving to prevention rather than cure, personalised medicines, and the discovery of cancer genes. Treatment in the community rather than hospitals. We're seeing a greater role in community pharmacy, and we're going to see a lot of that in the next few years, where pharmacy can manage conditions better, whether that's lifestyle, eating, diabetes management, smoking cessation, exercise, or how to take drugs more efficiently so that there's less waste and fewer unplanned trips to A&E. There's going to be an increasing role for community pharmacy. We saw the call to action paper from the Department of Health a few months ago, but it's very clear where the government is leading this. We're going to need to have more treatment in the community. And just today, actually, we saw that just to see how topical this is, a letter to the Times by 9 signatories, including the Royal College of Physicians and Royal College of Nurses. And they said that the ageing population means that the system in the NHS is creaking at the seams and cannot continue as it is. Without an extra £30 billion by 2020, at current levels, the NHS is going to fall apart. And they're asking for something which I think is terrific. They're asking for a cross-party, independent conversation on the way forward to scope, provision and fund health and social care. The trouble is, NHS is used too much as a political football. We need to get real and to face reality here. The NHS cannot continue as it is. We either need to have increases in taxes, we need less care, specialised care, we need some sort of change of the way people are treated, but it can't go on as it is. And finally, some IT. There are some great opportunities. We're seeing the convergence of IT and telecoms with healthcare to make treatments more efficient and to improve adherence to medicines. Academic health science networks launched last year. They're trying to drive change and innovation in the NHS. And our telemedicine expert at Matthew Arnold Baldwin is certainly excited by the opportunities for healthcare apps and wearables. This is a really exciting area. But again, where is the data being held? Who is going to be trusted with it? These are all questions that need to be answered before we can take advantage of this. So, there's a lot of change. It's exciting. But where there's change, there's opportunity. Opportunity for business. What does the future hold? Well, at our last Ping seminar, Professor Brian Smith, who's sitting here today and on our expert panel, he spoke about how players in the industry are evolving to meet the new landscape in the industry. And now I'm delighted to say that today we've got PwC, reporting on what they have seen and what they are seeing on the ground, and to give us their predictions of what the pharma world will have in store for 2020. We're privileged to be here today to get that 2020 vision in advance. When PwC has finished, Brian will then give a few of his thoughts, and then there'll be an opportunity for Q&A with our expert panel and to raise some points. So please, unless you've got any burning questions, save the questions for the end, but there will be a great opportunity for you to take part. So I'd now like to introduce Joe and Stephen from PwC. Joe Pisani is a partner leading the UK Pharma consulting team of PwC. She's a key author of PwC's Pharma 2020 Thought Leadership Series, and she assists clients in developing strategy, supporting deals, and conducting evaluations. Her clients include big pharma, biotech, generics, OTC, contract manufacturers, contract research organisations, ministries of health, private equity, and banks. Is there anyone who isn't on that list, Joe? No? Okay. Joe has experience in industry, and there's more about her in the pack, so please do have a look in the packs to read more about her. And I'd like to introduce Stephen Ahern as well. Stephen is a director within the PwC deals business. He specialises in pharmaceutical and biotechnology evaluation and strategic projects. He's worked with many industry participants, including large pharma, small and medium pharma, niche players, vaccine manufacturers, biotech, medtech, as well as the government and public sector. Again, a lot of experience there as well. Stephen provides strategic advice on topics such as R&D, commercial strategy, commercial due diligence, market reviews, and valuation advice. Again, there's more about Stephen in your packs, but it's great to have such a good couple of speakers here who've taken their time out from PwC to share their thoughts and their vision of 2020 pharma with us. Over to you both. Thank you.